Major General Marion T. Angao of the 4th Infantry Diamond Division, Philippine Army, represented by Brigadier General Siegfried C. Turbalado. Director Edward B. Yasay of the BFAR 10. Director Neil Aldrin G. Omega of the CPD 10. And now for the RDC-10 private sector representatives. Mr. Roel O. Madulo of RMI Dimension Incorporated. Attorney Gregorio Miguel H. Palugna, RDC-10 Geographical PSR, City of Cagayan de Oro. Ms. Regina Salvador Antequisa, RDC-10 Geographical PSR, City of Iligan. Engineer Milbert M. Macarambon, Labor Sector Representative. Mr. Bienvenido L. Narcisa Jr., RDC-10 Geographical PSR, Province of Bukidnon. Mr. Samuel D. Ebuetada, RDC-10 Geographical PSR, Province of Camiguin. And now for RDC-10 Economic Development Committee agencies, Director Aminudan A. Alias of the CDA-10. Director Ronald D. Gadot of the DENR-10. Director Mark Lemel L. Garcia of the DOSC-10. Director Marie Elaine S. Onchuan of the DOT-10. From the Social Development Committee, Director Glofelia J. Wayan of the DSWD-10. Engineer Chona Labaon of the NCIP-10. From the Economic Development Agency Committee agencies, Director Ruel B. Paklipan of the DTI-10. Once again from the Social Development Committee, Director Leo D. Camposano of the CHED-10. Director Ruth L. Fuentes of the DepEd-10. Director Sulpicio Henry M. Legaspi of the DOACHD Northern Mindanao. Director Paris Raymond Escabalio of the DSUD-10. Mr. Emmanuel G. Toledo of the DMWD-10. Attorney Geoffrey M. Suya of the DOLE-10. Director Antonio B. Sogarol of the OCD-10. Director Franklin P. Gumapon of the BIA-10. Mr. Ruel A. Casino of the Presidential Management Staff 10. Director Mary Ann B. Johnson of the BSP CDO. Director Nonito H. De La Cruz of the DBM-10. Now for the Infrastructure Committee, Director City Rama V. Alawi of the DICT-10. Now from the local government units, we have Mayor Estela Obot Estaño of Tudela, Misamis Occidental. We have Mayor Angel Yap of the Municipality of Lala, Lanao del Norte. We'd also like to call forward Director Irina Grace P. Morales of the BLGF-10. We shall now call on once again LGUs Mayor Lemuel Merrick M. Acosta of the City of Oroqueta. We'd also like to call forward from the Fividec Industrial Authority, Attorney Joseph Donato J. Bernardo, represented by Mr. Mr. Alberto Jude S. Montes. Mayor Sam Norman G. Fuentes of the City of Misamis. Mayor Sabiniano Escanama of the City of Tangum. We are now proceeding to the Executive Committee members. Director Virgie G. Naive of the DPWH-10, Vice Chairperson RLA of the Infrastructure and Utilities Development Committee. Mr. Jonathan M. Moncal of the Citizens Watch for Good Governance, Vice Chairperson PSR of the Macro and Development Administration Committee. Engineer Almarco C. Brito, Vice Chairperson PSR of the Economic Development Committee. Mr. Sherwin C. Mañada, Vice Chairperson PSR of the Infrastructure and Utilities Development Committee. We'd also like to call forward from the local government units, Honorable J. Francis T. Bago of the Municipality of Paul, Misamis Oriental. We'd also like to call forward from the LGU of the City of Hingoog, Honorable Eric G. Cañosa. He's represented by Wayne Militani Jr., their councilor. We'd also like to call forward the Economic Development from the Economic Development Committee Agency, Director Zoraida O. Makitindang Alhaja of the DAR 10. We'd also like to call forward, now back to the Executive Committee, Mr. Arsenio L. Sebastian III, Co-Chairperson of the Macro and Development Administration Committee. We'd also like to call forward Mr. Roel R. Ravenera, Co-Chairperson of the Economic Development Committee. Mr. Ruben A. Vegafria, Co-Chairperson of the Infrastructure and Utilities Development Committee. Director Bruce A. Colao, Vice Chairperson, Macro and Development Administration Committee and the DILG-10. Director Rafael Y. Abrogar II, Vice Chairperson RLA for the Social Development Committee from TESDA 10. Director Jose Apollo Y. Pacamalan, Vice Chairperson RLA of the Economic Development Committee and of the DA-10. We'd also like to call forward as member of the Executive Committee, Honorable Xavier Jesus D. Romualdo, Chairperson RDC-10 Macro Development Administration Committee. He's represented by SP member Jose Rufino Ladero. ENP Richardson T. Kua, Acting Secretary of the RDC-10 and Assistant Regional Director of DepDev-10. We'd also like to call forward Congressperson Henry Oaminal Jr. And now we will now be calling the chairperson and co-chairperson of the RDC-10 sector committees or the officers of the RDC-10 full council. But before that, we'd like to call on Congressperson Jason P. Almonte, Chairperson of the House Committee on Mindanao Affairs and District Representative of Misamis Occidental 1st District. We'd also like to call forward representing Governor Muhammad Galit Q. Di Maporo, Governor Province of Lanao del Norte, their Vice Governor Alan Lim. We'd also like to call forward from the office of the Honorable Lordan G. Suwan, the Chairperson of the House Committee on Public Information, District Representative of Cagayan de Oro 1st District, represented by Mr. Roberto Emplayo. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now calling forward the RDC-10 officers. First up, Governor Rogelio Neil P. Roque, Chairperson of the RDC-10 Infrastructure and Utilities Development Committee and Governor of the Province of Bukidnon. Governor Juliet T. Uy, Chairperson of the RDC-10 Social Development Committee and Governor of the Province of Misamis Oriental. Mayor Frederick W. Shao, Chairperson of the RDC-10 Economic Development Committee and Mayor of the City of Iligan. Director Myla Faye Aurora B. Carino, Vice Chairperson RDC-10 and the Regional Director of the DepDev 10. Mr. Jaime Rafael U. Pagio, Co-Chairperson of the RDC-10, Co-Chairperson of the Social Development Committee, and Vice Chairperson of the Gonzalo and Carmen Abaya Memorial Foundation Incorporated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the RDC-10 Chairperson and RD-COMAC Chairperson, Governor of the Province of Misamis Occidental, Attorney Henry S. Oaminal. May we request the chair to call the meeting to order.
145th Regional Development Council of Northern Mindanao Full Council meeting will now please come to order.
May we request the remaining guests and attendees to rise for the invocation, the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, and the Ambisyon Natin 2040 song. This shall be led by the 5 Emers Band from the province of Misamis Occidental.
silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyod ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka masisi, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong buka, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningin, ang bituin na talo niya kailan pang may maginilim. Lupa ng araw ng buwan, ating pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa Sibuloso sa kaligon nga Pilipino. Magkambisyon, paingon sa kaugmaon. Magkambisyon, aron malambo atong puson. Dali na magiusap sa pagtuman sa pangandoy. Ang antigo pag-amon na asama talusan. Dumagandang kabuton ng mga pangandoy. Dumagandang langaw sa dalan sa kahanap. Kinasimulan sa kapabuhan. Sibuloso sa kalikon nga Pilipino. Magkambisyon, paingon sa kaugmaon. Magkambisyon, aron malambo atong puson. Dali na magiusap sa pagtuman sa pangandoy. Antigo pag-amon na asama talusan. Ang batang pamilyang Pilipino sa kinabuhi o sa lahat ipangandoy. Ang mahimong lipon, kampante hamungaway. Kinabuhi mo, huwag natong tanan. Kitang sindalan sa kabaguhan. Sibuloso sa kalikon nga Pilipino. Magkambisyon, paingon sa kaugmaon. Magkambisyon, aron malambo atong puson. Dali na magiusap sa pagtuman sa pangandoy. Nga antigo pag-amon na asama talusan. Magkambisyon, paingon sa kaugmaon. Magkambisyon, aron malambo atong puson. Dali na magiusap sa pagtuman sa pangandoy. Antigo pag-amon na asama talusan. Ang mahimong likod, ang pagtinghamungaway. Kinabuhi mo, huwag natong tanan. Ang misyon mo, misyon nato. Tanan, natong tanan.
We would like to request everyone to please be seated.
At this point, may we call on the RDC-10 Acting Secretary and DipDev 10 OIC Assistant Regional Director, Environmental Planner Richardson T. Coa to determine the quorum.
Honorable Misamis, Occidental Governor Henry S. Oaminal, the RDC-10 Chairperson and Presiding Officer of today's meeting, good morning. Present today are all officials of the RDC-10 Full Council, all chairpersons of the RDC-10 sectoral committees. We have 9 council members from the LGUs, 22 council members from the national government agencies, 6 private sector representatives, and 6 special non-voting members. Honorable Chair, with 60 out of 75 members present, we have a quorum.
As the quorum has been determined, I now declare that the RDC-10 Full Council is in quorum. Now for the business proper, may I call the members of the participants to refer to the agenda items in the program of activities as provided by the Secretariat. May I therefore seek a motion from the member to approve the meeting's agenda. The Director Colau of the DILG is recognized. seconded. It has been moved and duly seconded by the RDC-10 Full Council meeting that the agenda as herein distributed be approved. Is there any comment, remarks, objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Let us, in the interest of time, may I request the body to dispense with the reading of the minutes and the updates of the resolutions passed and matters arising during the previous joint RDC-10 and RPOC-10 meeting as contained in tab B and C of your agenda folder. Members are requested to submit comments or corrections to the Secretariat within 5 working days after this meeting. May I therefore seek a motion to approve the minutes, including the deferment of the reading, with a coletilla that the members may provide comments directly to RDC-10 Secretariat within 5 working days.
Mr. Chair,
It has been moved by our Vice Chair and duly seconded by the members present to defer the reading and approve the same with the coletilla that the members may provide comments directly to the RDC-10 Secretariat within 5 working days. Is there any comments? Objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. At this juncture, may I call on RDC-10 Vice Chairperson and Deputy 10 Regional Director Mayfi Aurora B. Carino, CISO 3, to present the 3 agenda items under regional development concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the Regional Development Council, good morning. The regional development concerns have 3 items. First is under new programs and projects in the fiscal year 2026 general appropriations needing special budget requests. On February 6 of this year, the RDC-10 endorsed, on February 6 of 2025, RDC-10 endorsed the fiscal year 2026 budget proposals of 48 agency regional offices and 10 state universities and colleges with a total amount of 500.54 billion. On January 5 of this year, the fiscal year 2026 General Appropriations Act was enacted into law. The RDC-10 Secretariat assessed the funding of the RDC-10 endorsed budget. Based on this review, there were 69 programs, activities amounting to 1.13 billion that were not previously endorsed by the RDC-10. The disaggregation is as shown in the slide. Note that the infrastructure sector projects were already endorsed by the RDC-10 in the last quarter. On January 5 of this year, the DBM issued National Budget Circular number 599, which outlines the guidelines for the release of funds for fiscal year 2026. On June 2 to 9 of this year, the respective RDC-10 sector committees vetted and endorsed to the RDC-10 Full Council these 69 POPs needing special budget requests. In view of the foregoing, the Secretariat seeks the RDC-10's endorsement of these new POPs in the GAA 2026 to the respective agency central offices and DBM for fund release through special budget release subject to the compliance and completion of implementation readiness requirements. The second item in my presentation is that fiscal year 2027 proposed supplemental budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways Regional Office 10. This is for endorsement, Mr. Chair. On the fiscal year 2027 proposed supplemental budget of the DPWH-10, these were not part of the original fiscal year 2027 regional budget proposal endorsed by the RDC and RPOC through resolution number 14-05. With the inclusion of the supplemental POPs amounting to 33.975 billion, the total proposed fiscal year budget of DPWH-10 has increased to 277.943 billion. The breakdown of the proposed budget by legislative district is also presented in Annex A. Let me assure the body that this has gone through the rigorous process of the Secretariat and even by the sectoral committees during their meetings. The proposed additional POPs will further strengthen the region's infrastructure network by improving connectivity, mobility, accessibility, and disaster resilience, while supporting economic growth and advancing the attainment of regional development objectives. During the second quarter meeting of the RDC-10 Economic Development Committee, the DPWH-10 presented its fiscal year 2027 proposed supplemental budget. Upon the recommendation of the RDC-10 Infrastructure Utilities Development Committee, the RDC-10 EDC, which was the final vetting process, seeks the RDC-10's full council's endorsement of this proposed supplemental budget to the DPWH Central Office in finalizing the department's fiscal year 2027 budget. The third and last item under regional concerns, Mr. Chair, is the proposed fiscal year 2027 programs, activities, and projects implemented by Region 10 agency regional offices in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao areas. For the information of the body, while BARM is an autonomous region, there are programs and projects that are implemented by regional line agencies of Northern Mindanao. So on the proposed fiscal year 2027 programs, projects, and activities implemented by regional agencies in the BARM, concerns were raised on the limited infrastructure allocation for BARM and the absence of required RDC endorsements for several BARM-bound projects. It was noted that BARM-related POPs of DPWH regional offices, including DPWH-10, as well as those of NIA 10, DOH, CHD, Northern Mindanao, and DSWD-10 were previously submitted directly to the regional central offices without undergoing the RDC endorsement process required under National Budget Memorandum Number 156 Series of 2026. To address this concern and ensure compliance with DBM requirements, the concerned agencies presented their fiscal year 2027 BARM POPs to the RDC-10 sectoral committees for review and endorsement. During the second quarter meetings of the RDC-10 Infracom and Social Development Committee on June 2 and 3, respectively, a total proposed budget of 9.265 billion was endorsed with the following breakdown as shown on the screen. In view of the foregoing, the RDC-10 Infracom and SDC seek the endorsement of these fiscal year 2027 BARM proposals to the respective agency central offices for consideration in their final fiscal year 2027 budget proposals. Mr. Chair, that is the end of my presentation, Mr. Chair, and these three items are for endorsement by this full council.
Thank you, Director Carino. May I now solicit an omnibus motion for the approval of the three agenda items as presented. Yes, the gentleman from Camigan. Okay, duly seconded. It has been moved by our distinguished delegate from the province of Camigan, duly seconded by all members present, that a resolution be adopted to approve the three agenda items presented by Director Carino. Is there any remark, comment, objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Moving on, may I call on RDC-10, EDC Chairperson, and Iligan City Mayor, Honorable Frederick W. Xiao, to present the agenda items of the RDC-10 Economic Development Committee. Please, Mayor Xiao, you may proceed.
Thank you, RDC Chair. Governor Oaminal, my respect to the officers and members of RDC-10. Good morning, everyone. During its second quarter meeting on June 9, 2026, the RDC-10 EDC endorsed three agenda items. First, promoting sustainability and productivity for enterprise resilience and upscaling of upscaling or Prosper project. Second is advancing skills, competitiveness, and enterprise development or ASEN project. And third, additional membership of Mr. Ruel Madula, the geographical private sector representative of the province of Misamis Oriental to the EDC. The first agenda item seeks endorsement of Prosper project to DTI Central Office. This proposed project is led by the DTI and funded by the Asian Development Bank or ADB to modernize the agri-food sector through the upgrading of enterprise-driven value chain. The project aimed to unlock the potential of growth-ready MSMEs by strengthening access to investments, improving product quality, and expanding market linkages. It is strategically aligned with the region's priorities to boost MSME productivity, facilitate movement up the value chain, enhance the overall competitiveness, and deliver wider economic gains across Northern Mindanao. The RDC-10 EDC has further endorsed key recommendations to refine the project's design and ensure effective implementation at the regional level, warranting due consideration by the DTI. Next slide, please. Another proposed project of DTI is the ASEN project. This collaborative project aims to strengthen industry competitiveness through innovation and skills development. It is designed around three core outputs that collectively strengthen industry transformation, build innovation-driven ecosystems, and enhance infrastructure and institutional capacity to drive competitiveness, knowledge-based solutions, and green transition. The project is aligned with the regional priorities on revitalizing industry and advanced research and development, innovation, and promoting trade and investments. It is expected to contribute to the overarching impact of increasing quality employment opportunities and enhancing the global competitiveness of Philippine industries. The RDC-10 EDC has further endorsed key recommendations to refine the project's design and ensure effective implementation at the regional level, warranting due consideration by DTI. And finally, the third agenda item seeks the confirmation of an additional member of RDC-10 EDC. This is in line with the Executive Order number 82, which strengthens RDCs and expands private sector participation. The EDC requests the confirmation of Mr. Ruel O. Madula, Geographical PSR of Misamis Oriental. His participation in the RDC-10 ensures complete LGU representation and stronger linkage between local and regional development planning. The nomination of will enhance stakeholder engagement and support more effective policy coordination within the committee. Mr. Chair, the RDC-10 EDC respectfully seeks the endorsement of two proposed projects and confirmation of Mr. Madula as member of RDC-10 EDC. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Mayor Xiao. The chair would like to solicit an omnibus motion for the three agenda items as presented by Mayor Xiao under the Economic Development Committee. Yes, Mr. Roel Rabanera from the private sector, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the endorsement of the two mentioned projects, Prosper and Ascend. I also would move for the confirmation of Ruel Madula as a new member of the RDC-10 EDC for the term 2025 to 2028. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Julie seconded. Okay. It has been moved by Mr. Ruel Rabanira, our co-chairperson of EDC-10 RDC, duly seconded by all members present, that all the agenda items presented by Mayor Frederick Xiao, the chairman of RDC-10 Economic Development Committee, be approved. Is there any remarks, comments, objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Thank you very much, Mayor Xiao. Let us now proceed in the agenda items of RDC-10 Infrastructure and Utilities Development Committee. May I call on RDC-10 Infracom Chairperson and Province of Bukidnon Governor Rogelio Nil Roque to present its 4 agenda items in today's meeting. Sir?
Honorable Governor Henry S. Oaminal, our RDC Chairperson, RDC-10 co-chairpersons, fellow RDC officers and members, development partners, distinguished guests, mayong buntag kanatong tanan. As chairperson of the RDC-10 Infracom, I am pleased to present the actions and recommendations endorsed by the committee during its second quarter 2026 meeting for the consideration of approval of this council. The committee reviewed and deliberated on the key infrastructure and utility initiatives that support regional connectivity, service delivery, and sustainable development in Northern Mindanao. Today, I will briefly present the committee's recommendations for the council's actions. Next slide, please. During its second quarter 2026 meeting held on June 2, 2026, the Infracom deliberated on several matters affecting infrastructure development, utilities, transportation, and digital connectivity in Northern Mindanao. After due consideration, the committee endorsed 4 agenda items for the approval and support of the full council. These agenda items related to the institutionalization of TWGs under the Infracom, the implementation of the new guidelines on price escalation for government projects, support for the accelerated internalization of Laguindingan Airport, and the conduct of the 2026 ICT data gathering and statistics activities of the DICT in Northern Mindanao. All 4 agenda items are being submitted to the Council's endorsement and appropriate action. So, Mr. Chair, I will now present the first agenda item. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Agenda number 1 concerns the creation and institutionalization of TWGs under the Infracom to strengthen sectoral coordination and provide more focused discussions on infrastructure and utility concerns. The committee proposes the establishment of 6 permanent TWGs covering transportation, energy, ICT, water supply and sanitation, irrigation and flood control, and social and environmental infrastructure. These TWGs will serve as dedicated platforms for technical discussions, policy review, project monitoring, interagency coordination, and the resolution of sector-specific concerns. Through these mechanisms, the committee will be better positioned to provide timely, evidence-based, and actionable recommendations to both the Infracom and the full council. So, Mr. Chair, the committee respectfully seeks the council's endorsement of the proposed creation and institutionalization of these 6 TWGs. Agenda number 2 seeks the Council's endorsement of a request to the Government Procurement Policy Board, or GPPB, for the expedited issuance of streamlined price escalation guidelines under the Republic Act 12009 or the new Government Procurement Act. The committee recognizes that infrastructure projects across the region continue to face implementation challenges arising from fluctuations in fuel and energy prices, increasing transportation costs, and rising construction input costs. These conditions may affect project timelines, contract implementation, and overall project delivery. Given the importance of sustaining the timely implementation of critical infrastructure projects, the committee supports the immediate issuance of clear and streamlined guidelines on price escalation, particularly during the periods of significant energy price volatility and national energy emergencies. So, Mr. Chair, the committee respectfully seeks the Council endorsement of this request to the GPPB. Third agenda seeks the Council's endorsement of a proposal to accelerate the internalization of Laguindingan Airport. As the primary gateway of Northern Mindanao, Laguindingan Airport plays a critical role in supporting tourism, trade, investments, logistics, and economic growth. While significant improvements have already been undertaken following the airport's turnover to Aboitiz Infra Capital, a clear and comprehensive pathway toward international airport operates has yet to be established. To address this, the committee proposes the Aboitiz Infra Capital, in coordination with the Department of Transportation and other concerned agencies, develop and present a comprehensive internalization roadmap. This roadmap should identify the necessary infrastructure investments, regulatory and policy requirements, development priorities, implementation milestones, and indicative timelines needed to achieve international airport status. Such a roadmap will provide stakeholders with a common direction and realistic framework for transforming Laguindingan Airport into a globally connected gateway for Northern Mindanao, aligned with our regional development vision. So, Mr. Chair, the committee respectfully seeks the Council's endorsement of this proposal. Item number 4 seeks the Council's endorsement of the conduct of the 2026 ICT data gathering and statistical activities of the DICTE Northern Mindanao. These activities include the LGU ICT Readiness Survey and Digital Terrestrial Television Broadcasting, or DTTB, Household Penetration Study, which are scheduled for implementation during the second semester of 2026. The data generated from these activities will provide important inputs for digital infrastructure planning, ICT policy formulation, digital governance initiatives, and the continuing implementation of the country's digital television migration program. To ensure the successful conduct of these activities, the committee likewise encourages all concerned LGUs to extend the necessary support and cooperation to the DICT and its field teams during data collection activities. Mr. Chair, the committee respectfully seeks the Council endorsement of this proposal. Mr. Chair, the InfraCom respectfully seeks the Council's favorable endorsement of the 4 agenda items presented. These initiatives aim to strengthen infrastructure governance, improve project implementation, enhance regional connectivity, and support digital transformation efforts in Northern Mindanao. This concludes the presentation of the committee, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Governor Roque. May I now solicit an omnibus motion for the 4 agenda items presented by Governor Roque. Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Ruben,
Mr. Chair,
The-
I
yeah, you are recognized, sir.
respectfully endorse the omnibus endorsement of agenda number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 as presented.
Is there any second to the omnibus motion? Yes, it has been duly moved by Mr. Ruben Bigafria, our private sector representative, duly seconded by all the members present, that a resolution be adopted approving the four agenda items presented by Governor Roque, our RDC-10 Infracom Chairperson. Is there any remark, objection? There being none, the motion is approved. At this juncture, let us now hear the agenda items of the Tri-Committee. May I call on RDC-10 Macrocom Co-Chairperson and RDC-10 Private Sector Representative, Mr. Arsenio L. Sebastian III, to present the agenda items. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you, the Honorable Governor Oaminal. Mr. Chair, the Tri-Committee has the agenda items elevated to the RDC full council, all of which are for endorsement of the body as shown in the screen. Number 1 is urging all provincial, city, municipal, and local government units to fully comply with the Republic Act number 11535 through the creation and operation of cooperative development offices, the appointment of cooperative development officers, and the allocation of funds for the cooperative development programs and support services. Number 2 is enjoining the concerned Region 10 local government units to provide the complementary local force personnel and field-level assistance to the Department of Agrarian Reform provincial offices to accelerate the implementation of Republic Act 11953 under voluntary land transfer and direct payment scheme. On the first agenda, the proposal seeks the endorsement of the full implementation of Republic Act 11535 through the establishment of cooperative development offices in all LGUs. While cooperatives are recognized as key drivers of inclusive growth, many in the region remain inactive or unsustainable due to the limited technical, institutional, and regulatory support at the local level. Currently, those LGUs rely on the designated part-time personnel, which constrains effective service delivery. Establishing full functional CDOs will provide sustained, localized support, strengthen compliance, and improve enterprise viability. This aligns with the strategies in the MRDP 2023 to 2028 and represents a practical and immediate step towards more resilient and sustainable cooperatives. The second and final item agenda seeks endorsement of the provision of complementary local personnel and field-level assistance by concerned local government units to support the implementation of RA 11953 or the new Agrarian Emancipation Act. While the Department of Agrarian Reform Region 10 has made substantial progress in condoning agrarian reform applications and facilitating land tenure security for agrarian reform beneficiaries, the process of cases under the voluntary land transfer direct payment scheme remains challenging due to the manpower limitation, extensive validation requirements, and long-standing documentation issues. LGU assistance can help accelerate beneficiary validation, field coordination, and documentation activities. The proposal was endorsed by the RDC-10 Tri-Committee on 1 June 2026 and aligns with Chapter 7, Modernized Agriculture and Agribusiness of the MMRDP 2023 to 2028. Midterm update. Accordingly, the Tri-Committee seeks the RDC-10 full council endorsement of the proposed initiative. Mr. Chairman, those are the agenda items of the Tri-Committee for RDC endorsement. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. May I please be recognized, Mr. Chair?
Yes, the director of the DILG, Director Colau, is recognized.
Yes, Your Honor. This representation respectfully moves for the approval of the two agenda items presented by Mr. Arsenio L. Sebastian III, the co-chairperson of RDC-10 Macrocom, on behalf of the Honorable Javier Jesus de Romualdo, chairperson of RDC-10 Macrocom, Governor of the Province of Camiguin. So move, Your Honor.
Is there any second? Yes. It has been moved by Director Colau and duly seconded by all members present that the two agenda items presented by RDC-10 Private Sector Representative Mr. Arsenio L. Sebastian III in behalf of the RDC team Macrocom Chair Governor Romualdo, that a resolution be adopted approving the two agenda items. Is there any remark, comment? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Let us move to the agenda items of the RDC-10 Social Development Committee. May I call on RDC-10 SDC Chairperson and the beautiful Governor of the Province of Misamis Oriental, Governor Juliet T. Oy, to present the committee agenda.
My respect to the officers and members of the RDC-10, ladies and gentlemen, maayong adlaw kanatong tanan. The RDC-10 Social Development Committee respectfully presents 4 agenda items for the Council's consideration. The RDC-10 Social Development Committee, during its second quarter meeting on June 3, 2026, thoroughly discussed and reviewed the merits of 4 agenda items for the RDC's appropriation action. Today's presentation covers critical areas that directly influence the well-being and resilience of our communities. This includes updates and policies, concerns on health, nutrition, initiatives on migration and development, efforts to strengthen health leadership and governance, and the conduct of regional study on cohabitation, which provides evidence to inform policies and programs affecting families and our communities. Collectively, these agenda items underscore the committee's commitment to promoting inclusive, people-oriented, centered, evidence-based on development across Northern Mindanao. We respectfully seek the Council's endorsement and approval on the recommendations that will be presented today. With the Council's permission, may request our Social Development Committee Co-Chairman, Mr. Jaime Pagyo, to present the 4 agenda items for this committee's consideration. Daghang salamat sa tanan.
Okay. Mr. Jaime Pagyo is recognized to present the 4 agenda items. Sir, Governor Oaminal, the Chairperson of the Regional Development Council, then members of the Regional Development Council, distinguished officials, fellow stakeholders, friends, ladies and gentlemen, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. As presented earlier by our RDC-10 Social Development Committee Chairperson, Governor Juliet Puy of the province of Misamis Oriental, the Regional Development Council 10 Social Development Council has 4 agenda items for the RDC-10's endorsement and approval. Our first agenda is the Philippine Multi-Sectoral Nutrition Project, or PMNP, Converging Nutrition Efforts for Our Children's Tomorrow, Connect, for endorsement to the RDC-10. Next slide, please. The PMNP Connect is a major initiative led by the Department of Health and the DSWD, with support from the Department of Finance. It builds on the gains of Phase 1, which is currently implemented in 275 municipalities and now expands to 580 municipalities, including 80 municipalities in farm. The project aligns with the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition for 2023 to 2028 and is expected to benefit over 10 million Filipinos, including women of reproductive age and children under the ages of 5. In Region 10, there are 35 municipalities across 4 provinces that are identified for implementation. Its primary goal is to reduce stunting and address malnutrition, especially within the first 1,000 days of life. Key considerations include phased rollout based on local readiness, prioritization of high poverty municipalities, clear financing and accountability mechanisms, alignment and universal healthcare reforms, and establishing measurable targets. The Department of Health, as lead proponent, seeks your support for the timely approval and inclusion of the PMNP Connect program in national priority investment programs. The RDC-10 and the SDC seeks, therefore, the RDC-10's endorsement of the PMNP Connect program and appropriating funds thereof to the Economy and Development Council Investment Coordination Committee. Next slide, please. Our second agenda is the creation of the Labor, Migration, and Development Committee as a subcommittee under the RDC-10 SDC for approval by the RDC-10. Next slide, please. The Department of Migrant Workers, mandated under Republic Act 11641, leads efforts to protect overseas Filipino workers and promote their welfare and reintegration. This initiative is aligned with national laws and the Labor Migration Management Plan 2026 to 2028, which aims to ensure that migration contributes to sustainable development. The proposed Local Migration and Development Committee, or LMDC, will serve as a coordinating body for migration-related policies and programs within our region. The proposed creation of the LMDC under the RDC-10 Social Development Committee aims to institutionalize the alignment of migration governance with social protection, labor mobility, human capital development, and inclusive growth strategies, programs, and projects. The committee will be chaired by the DMW-10 together with DOLE-10 as co-chairperson. So, Mr. Chair, this is also for approval by the RDC-10. Next slide. The third agenda is related to the hidden household, an analysis of adolescent cohabitation and its effects on the human capital of Region 10, which is also for approval for RDC-10. Next slide, please. Adolescent cohabitation, often unregistered, is a growing issue that remains underrepresented in data and policy. Under Republic Act 11596, different types of cohabitation are defined, including cases involving minors, which may constitute child marriage or abuse. In Region 10, our data shows that a total of 39,192 individuals aged between 10 and 19 years were recorded engaging in cohabitation. Yet, many cases go unreported. While no penalties are imposed on children, the law requires government agencies to provide protection and rehabilitation while penalizing responsible adults. To address this and in response to the request of Governor X.C. Romualdo of the province of Camiguin, the Northern Bukidnon State College, or NBSC, in partnership with regional agencies and universities, proposes a study to examine its root causes and impacts on youth and development. Assistance from LGUs in Region 10 is requested, particularly in facilitating field operations, coordinating with their respective barangays, and ensuring access to relevant local data and key stakeholders to enable provision of enumerators and field supervisors through LGU or partner agency and augmentation, which is requested. Again, Mr. Chair, this is for the approval of RDC-10. Next slide, please. The fourth and our last agenda is on Health Leadership and Governance Program of the Department of Health for support of the RDC-10. Next slide, please. Leadership and governance remain critical challenges to the Philippine health system. Issues such as uneven LGU capacity, weak local health boards, and political dynamics continue to affect service delivery. With the Universal Healthcare Act, local government units can now carry expanded responsibilities, making strong leadership essential. And to address this, the Department of Health, in partnership with the Swillig Family Foundation and the UP College of Public Health, developed the Health Leadership and Governance Program. My friends, this is a 12-month program consisting of learning modules, practicum application, coaching, and a final leadership colloquium. However, there are challenges, including limited participation, leadership turnover, weak governance structures, and insufficient resources. Thus, the RDC-10 Social Development Committee seeks RDC-10 support of the program and encourages broader participation of local chief executives. Mr. Chair and fellow members at the RDC, these are our 4 agenda items from the Regional Development Council, SDC-10, with a request for your endorsement, approval, and support, respectively. Thank you, and daghang salamat sa inyong tanan. Thank you very much, Mr. Jaime Pagyo and Governor Joliet Oy. The Chair now solicit an omnibus motion for the 4 agenda items presented by the RDC-10 SDC. Yes, Mrs. Maglasang, the private sector representative of the province of Misamis Occidental, you are recognized, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, I want to move for the collective approval and endorsement of the Social Development Committee items just presented.
It has been moved. And are there any second?
Mr. Chair.
It has been moved by private sector representative of Ms. Oc, Mrs. Maglasang, severally seconded by all members present, that the 4 agenda items presented by the RDC-10 SDC be approved. Is there any remark, comment, objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the next major highlight of our program, we are honored to witness a cultural presentation. Please help me welcome on stage the USTP Gintong Amihan Dance Troupe.
pasilong, ani apay kapukaw, o pagulong pagayon itaon, iantos ang tanan, kay gibutan sa kapalaran. Bang kamo, inabing kamo, dagan nga to, dagan nga rin. Walay na rin kami, dito sa kinabuhin sa kayanon. Ito ko lang, isaot na walay pulo pasilong. Ani apay kapukaw, kung kagutok ka ngayon itaon. Iyan ko sa tanan, kay gibutan sa Forget about us, put the blame on me. If I don't see a yellow ribbon round the olive tree.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our guests of honor. Please help me in welcoming Secretary Leo Tereso A. Magno of the Mindanao Development Authority and the Special Assistant to the President, Secretary Antonio Ernesto Florendo Lagdameo Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen for a video presentation.
There was a time when few people believed Misamis Occidental could become what it is today. For decades, the province struggled with poverty, criminality, illegal drugs, and insurgency. Economic opportunities were limited, investment were scarce, many communities were left behind. In 2003, Misamis Occidental ranked among the poorest provinces in the Philippines. 3 years later, it remained among the country's 10 poorest provinces. At the same time, criminal syndicates and illegal drug operations threatened peace and order. Insurgency activities disrupted development efforts in remote communities. Many believed the province would continue to lag behind. Opportunities were limited. Investors' confidence was low. Progress seemed difficult to achieve. Yet beneath these challenges was a province rich in potential, blessed with fertile agricultural lands, rich marine resources, natural attractions, in a strategic location connecting Northern Mindanao and the Zamboanga Peninsula. Misamis Occidental possessed all the foundations needed for growth. What it needed was direction. What it needed was peace. What it needed was leadership. A vision anchored on good governance, public service, and inclusive development. As Congressman, Henry Sevilla Oaminal supported major infrastructure and development initiatives that helped strengthen the province's foundation for long-term growth. Among the most significant projects benefiting the province today is the Pangil Bay Bridge, which has strengthened connectivity, reduced travel time, and opened new opportunities for trade, tourism, and investment. But infrastructure alone could not transform a province. Peace and order were also a priority. Efforts against illegal drugs, criminality, and insurgency intensified. Communities gradually became safer. Businesses expanded, development accelerated. Then in 2022, a new chapter began. As governor, Henry Sevilla Oaminal pursued an ambitious development agenda focused on agriculture, healthcare, education, tourism, infrastructure, public safety, and social services. Farmers received unprecedented support through the ASENSO Rice Farmers Full Assistance Program. Families gained educational opportunities through the One Family, One Professional program. Healthcare services expanded through the free hospitalization program and the construction of the ASENSO Misamis Occidental Medical Center, a major investment designed to provide quality healthcare closer to the home for Misamisans. Tourism likewise emerged as a major driver of growth. The ASENSO Global Gardens became one of the province's premier tourism destinations, drawing visitors from across the country. At the same time, the ASENSO Misamis Occidental Recreation and Adventure Park, or AMORA, emerged as one of Mindanao's premier tourism and investment hubs. Dubbed as Maldives of Mindanao, the development highlights Misamis Occidental's growing ability to attract visitors, investments, and economic opportunities, driving growth and creating new prospects for the province and its people. On September 27, 2024, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. declared Misamis Occidental an insurgency-free province, a milestone made possible through Governor Henry Sevilla Oaminal's strong political will and the unified efforts of law enforcement agencies. The road to transformation, however, was not without challenges. Despite this milestone, the province continued its campaign against criminality, illegal drugs, and insurgency. Governor Oaminal himself survived multiple assassination attempts while pursuing reforms and strengthening peace and order efforts. Yet despite these challenges, development continued, and the result gradually became visible. Misamis Occidental reduced its poverty incidence from 32.7% in 2018 to 22.6% in 2023, leading to its removal from the list of the country's poorest provinces. In 2024, the province recorded a 7.5% economic growth rate. Today, Misamis Occidental ranks among the country's top-performing local economies, 8th in locally sourced income growth, 5th in per capita GDP, 15th most progressive provinces nationwide, 4th fastest growing economy, and the 9th largest economy in Mindanao. New investments began coming in. More tourists discovered the province. Infrastructure projects continued to connect communities, and for many Misamisans, opportunities that once seemed out of reach became possible. What was once considered one of the country's poorest provinces began earning recognition for the progress it had achieved. Misamis Occidental hosted the Northern Mindanao Regional Athletic Association, or NAMRA-AMIT, the Regional Fire Olympics, the Regional Science, Technology, and Innovation Week, the Mindanao Association of Tertiary Schools Friendship Games, the Regional Festival of Talents, the National Fire Olympics, the Couples for Christ Mindanao Weekend Retreat, and the successful hosting of the preliminary activities of Miss Universe Philippines 2026 became more than a tourism milestone. It became a symbol of how far Misamis Occidental had become. The province's transformation soon drew attention beyond its borders.
It's more fun in Misamis Occidental.
In 2025, Governor Henry Sevilla Oaminal was elected chairperson of the Regional Development Council of Northern Mindanao, entrusted with leading the region's development agenda and championing its priorities before the national government. On November 3, 2025, appointed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., he formally took his oath as RDC-10 chairperson, assuming a greater responsibility in advancing the aspirations and development priorities of Northern Mindanao. The following day, on November 4, 2025, he became a member of the Mindanao Development Authority Board of Directors, giving Northern Mindanao a stronger voice in shaping Mindanao's development agenda. Then came another historic milestone. On January 8, 2026, Governor Henry Sevilla Oaminal was unanimously elected chairperson of the Regional Development Committee, Mindanao Area Committee, becoming the first RDC-10 chairperson in history to lead the body responsible for coordinating development priorities across the island of Mindanao. As RDC-10 chairperson and Regional Development Committee, Mindanao Area Committee chairperson, he worked to strengthen collaboration among local governments, national agencies, and development partners to help accelerate growth and development across Northern Mindanao and the entire island of Mindanao. On March 16, 2026, the RDC-10 Advisory Committee convened at the Batasang Pambansa Complex, bringing together lawmakers and regional leaders to secure support for priority programs and projects vital to Northern Mindanao's development. Recognizing that development and security must go hand in hand, RDC-10 held its first joint meeting with the Regional Peace and Order Council on March 18, 2026, reinforcing a unified approach to sustaining peace, stability, and economic growth across the region. On March 26 and 27, 2026, Misamis Occidental hosted the 22nd Minda Board meeting and the 42nd Regional Development Committee Mindanao Area Committee Conference, gathering leaders from across Mindanao to advance a unified development agenda and promote stronger support for the island's priority programs and projects. From ASENSO Misamis Occidental to Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao to One ASENSO Mindanao, what began in one province gradually expanded beyond its borders. As opportunities grew in Misamis Occidental, the focus also turned to the development of Northern Mindanao and the rest of Mindanao. Today, Misamis Occidental is no longer known for the challenges that once held it back. It is now recognized for the progress it continues to achieve. And as the province moves forward, it carries with it a larger role in helping advance the development of Northern Mindanao and the entire island of Mindanao. Ladies and gentlemen, the proud father of Attorney Althea Isabel Oaminal Acosta, who earned her Master of Laws degree at Queen Mary University in France and New York bar passer, ASENSO Pinoy Party List Representative Henry F. Oaminal Jr. and Misamis Occidental 2nd District Representative Sancho Fernando Oaminal, the loving husband of Attorney Pearl Grace F. Oaminal, our RDC-10 and RDCOM Mindanao Area Committee Chairman, and Misamis Occidental Governor Henry Sevilla Oaminal in his State of the Region Address 2026.
Gobernador
pag-uswag dili aksidente. Dili usab bunga sa swerte. Kini nagsumikad sa klarong panan-awon, lig-on nga panaghiusa og pagtambayayong, og walay puwas nga paningkamot kanatong tanan. Development does not happen by chance. It is the result of vision, unity, collaboration, and our collective efforts as a people. To our guest of honor, Special Assistant to the President, Secretary Antonio Ernesto F. Lagdameo, Sir, thank you very much for sharing your precious time in traveling miles away to be with us. And we are very much delighted of your presence today. Talagang malakas ang Northern Mindanao sa iyo. Can we give him a big hand? Secretary Leo Tereso Magno of Mindanao Development Authority, Mayor Clarix Oy, our host city mayor, represented here by Administrator Roy Ragas, our only lady but the most beautiful governor throughout the Philippines, Governor Juliet Oy of Misamis Oriental, Governor XG Romualdo of Camiguin, who had just sent his regret because of a family happening last night, represented here by his official representative, Governor Rogelio Nel Roque of Bukidnon. Tingnan niyo, sa bungot pa lang, guwapo na. Governor Cali Dimapuro of Lanao del Norte, represented by his Vice Governor Lim. Region 10 Congress Chairpersons, our X-Men in Region 10, our X-Men Congressmen, headed by Deputy Speaker Bambi Oaminal, who is represented here by Mr. Michael Van Domingo. We have here, of course, the loyal congressmen of the governor coming from my home province, Congressman Jason Almonte of the 1st District of Misamis Occidental, and of course, loyal among loyals, my namesake son, ASENSO Pinoy Party List Congressman Henry Puentes Oaminal Jr. Mayor of highly urbanized city, we have Mayor Frederick Xiao of Iligan City, the Mindanao Station of the Court of Appeals Justices, headed by Executive Judge Honorable Lily V. Biton, distinguished members of the Regional Development Council of Northern Mindanao, its sectoral committees, my colleagues from the province of Misamis Occidental nga misuporta o miduyog uban kanako our provincial officials headed by Vice Governor Wing Gutierrez and all the mayors of Misamis Occidental, please stand up to be recognized. President of the League of Mayors and other elected officials, Federation Presidents of various elected officials, USTP President Dr. Ambrosio B. Coltora II, who graciously allowed us to use the facilities of the university. Heads of national government agencies, IP leaders, our OPOP scholars who are here today, members of the private sector, academe, civil society, organization, business and tourism stakeholders, development partners, fellow public servants, other students, partners from labor and agriculture, fisheries sectors, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day to all of us. Wala bang palakpak diha? Salamat. Medyo migana ra ko pagpadayon sa taas-taas nako karon nga mensahe. It is my honor to present the 2026 State of the Region, my first address as your RDC Chairperson. I will present the progress, challenges, and opportunities that continue to shape Northern Mindanao development journey. This gathering is more than a presentation of accomplishments. It is an opportunity to reflect on where we are now as a region, where we want to go, and how we can work together to achieve a more prosperous, resilient, innovative, and inclusive Northern Mindanao. The gains we celebrate today are the product of convergence of the local government units, national government agencies, the private sector, academe, civil society, development partners, and the people of Northern Mindanao. Despite global uncertainties and emerging challenges, Northern Mindanao continues to move forward with confidence, guided by a shared vision of inclusive and sustainable development and just and lasting peace. Before discussing the accomplishment under the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda, allow me to present a snapshot of our region's development performance. In 2025, Northern Mindanao remained among the country's key growth distributors. The regional economy expanded by 4.9%, outpacing the national growth rate of 4.4%, and making Northern Mindanao the seventh fastest growing regional economy in the country. Total economic output rates approximately 1.1 trillion pesos, earning Northern Mindanao a place in the country's elite trillion peso club. A testament to our strength, resilience, and dynamism of our economy. The achievement was sustained by the continued confidence and investment of our private sector and business community. In 2025, the region recorded 196.8 billion pesos in gross capital formation, reflecting sustained private and public investment that expanded productivity capacity, generated employment opportunities, and reinforced Northern Mindanao position as one of the country's leading growth centers. While these figures reflect a growing economy, they also remind us that growth must translate into quality jobs and better lives for our people. In 2025, unemployment and underemployment rate rose to 4.4% and 17.8%, respectively. Although underemployment rate improved to 14.4% in the early part of 2026 and met the regional target. These trends underscore the need to create more quality jobs, strengthen workforce competitiveness, and align skills development with industry requirements. Inflationary pressures likewise continue to affect households and businesses. While inflation generally moderated in 2025, year-to-date inflation reached to 4.9% amid geopolitical tensions and rising fuel costs. These developments affect household purchasing power, particularly among the vulnerable sectors. Nevertheless, with a positive stride towards a peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran, we are optimistic that global conditions will stabilize, paving the way for our own regional recovery in the latter half of the year. These realities underscore the importance of strengthening food security, improving supply chains, enhancing productivity, and ensuring that growth remains inclusive and resilient. More importantly, they remind us that economic growth alone is not enough. Growth is meaningful only when every Northern Mindanaonon feels its benefit. Mga kaigsuonan, ang tinuod nga sukod sa kalampuan, dili lamang makita sa numero o istatistika. Makita ini kung adunay trabaho ang atong mga katawhan, kung adunay pagkaon sa matag lamisa, o kung adunay paglaom ang matag pamilya sa Northern Mindanao. To demonstrate our unwavering commitment to fighting poverty, Region 10 spearheaded a series of anti-poverty summits across our provinces in the first quarter of this year. We brought our minds and hearts together, thinking outside the box, to craft strategies that will once and for all lift our people out of poverty and bring meaningful development to every family in Northern Mindanao. While Northern Mindanao continues to attract investment and create opportunities, the benefit of development must reach every community, every family, every sector of the society, especially those stakeholders who are present today. Recognizing both the opportunities and challenges before us, the RDC-10 spearheaded the midterm update of the Northern Mindanao Regional Development Plan 2023-2028. through extensive consultations with LGU, national government agencies, the private sector, academia, civil society organizations, and development partners. We reaffirm our commitment to a development agenda that remains responsive, inclusive, and future-oriented. Development is not a destination, but a continuing journey. It is precisely for this reason that RDC-10 adopted the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao Agenda as a strategic framework for accelerating inclusive and sustainable development and achieving ambisyon natin 2040 of having a matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay. The Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao Agenda traces its roots to the ASENSO Misamis Occidental governance model, which I introduced upon assuming office as governor of the province, anchored on the vision of building communities where every Misamisnon can live nga malinawon, malambuon, o malipayon. And guided by the core values of the 5 M's, matinahoron, matinodanon, matinobangon, mahigugmaon, o maampon. The initiative demonstrated that people-centered governance, strategic investment, and a strong partnership can translate into a meaningful improvements in the lives of our people. Endorsed by these gains, we expanded this governance philosophy beyond the province and formally introduced the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao Agenda during the 143rd RDC-10 Full Council meeting on December 3, 2025, transforming it into a unified regional development framework that now guides our collective pursuit of a more prosperous, resilient, innovative, and inclusive Northern Mindanao. Its 9 pillars are not stand-alone priorities. Together, they form an integrated strategy for modernizing governance, accelerating investment, strengthening infrastructure and security, building climate resilience, developing human capital, institutionalizing evidence-based planning, nurturing innovation, advancing social development, and ensuring the sustainable use of our natural resources. Guided by this framework, we continue to pursue development that is measured not only by economic growth, but by the opportunities we create, the lives we improve, and the future we build for every Northern Mindanao. Allow me to report on the progress we have achieved under the 9 pillars of the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao Agenda. The first pillar of the Mas ASENSO is modernization of governance. Good governance remains the foundation of inclusive and sustainable development. As the region's highest development policy making and coordinating body, the RDC-10 continues to strengthen governance system, improve public service delivery, and advance reforms that make government more responsive to the needs of the people. The RDC-10 approved 198 resolutions addressing key policy, governance, and investment concerns in Northern Mindanao. The Council also endorsed over 500 billion worth of priority and high-impact programs and projects for fiscal year 2026, which 20% was funded under the 26th General Appropriations Act or GAA for fiscal year 2026. We should be proud because we got 20% of what we had endorsed. Other regions here in Mindanao get only an average of 15 to 16% on what had been endorsed. In 2027, the RDC endorsed for that proposed GAA 479.200 billion in programs and projects. And we are confident that our Region 10 Congress persons, collectively known as our X-Men, will continue to serve as a steadfast champion for Northern Mindanao, helping secure greater national government budget, not only for critical infrastructure, but for all initiatives across all sectors. As your RDC-10 chairperson, I likewise commit to sustain my personal championing of the region's priority programs and projects by actively lobbying for the increased funding and support. And I believe we can do it with the presence and the help of Secretary Lagdamio and Secretary Magno of the Mindanao Development Authority. The Council likewise sustained the implementation of the Northern Mindanao Regional Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and approved the updated Regional Physical Framework Plan for 2013 to 2040 to ensure that development interventions remain aligned with region's long-term vision of becoming an international gateway, leading agricultural hub, and major industrial, tourism, and trade center in the Philippines. Digital transformation also gained momentum. 30% of LGUs are now adopting the internet-based business permit and licensing system, while reforms under Republic Act number 11032 or the Ease of Doing Business to an Efficient Government Service Delivery Act continue to improve the efficiency and transparency of government transactions. We recognize the vital role of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, ARTA, in advancing transparency, accountability, and efficient government service delivery pursuant to Republic Act number 1103. However, the pursuit of accountability must always be exercised within the bounds of the law, with due respect for the mandates and lawful authority of the implementing agencies and LGUs. While oversight is necessary, it must not result in regulatory overreach or encroach upon functions vested by law in other institutions. Public trust is strengthened when accountability is pursued through due process, fairness, and adherence to the rule of law. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin, kayo naman sa ARTA, huwag naman kayong magpagamit as collection agency of unscrupulous suppliers. These reforms lay down the foundation for a more responsive, efficient, and citizen-centered government. The second pillar of the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is accelerated investment. Investment generate jobs, stimulate economic activity, and create opportunities for communities to thrive as Northern Mindanao strengthens its position as a major economic and logistic hub. Attracting investments and supporting enterprise development remain among our highest priorities. In 2025, the region's export sector remained resilient, generating us $1.65 billion in export and recording a merchandise export volume of 7.76 billion kilograms. These gains reflect the competitiveness of Northern Mindanao products in both domestic and international markets. Investment performance was likewise encouraging. Foreign and Filipino investment release reached 3.11 billion, surpassing the regional targets, while projects registered with the Board of Investment soared by more than 211% to reach 30.70 billion pesos. The increasing number of registered corporations and partnerships further reflects growing investor confidence in the region. Agriculture and fisheries perform strongly relative to the previous years. Palay productions increased by 2.62%. Rice sufficiency improved to 87.38%. Industrial crop production grew by 34.44%. And fisheries production expanded by 11.77%. In terms of total agriculture output, Region 10 remained the second largest producer next to Central Luzon, with Bukidnon as the top contributing province. Congratulations, Pogi Governor Onel Roque. These gains not only reinforce Northern Mindanao role as the food basket, it also highlights its position as the country's leading agri-industrial hub. Tourism likewise emerged as a major growth driver. Tourist arrival exceeded 3.1 million visitors in 2025, surpassing regional targets and generating significant economic activities. The region's growing prominence received international recognition when the province of Camiguin was included in the New York Times 52 places to go in 2026, making it the only Philippine destination on the prestigious list. Congratulations to the father and son tandem, Congressman J.J. Romualdo and Governor X.J. Romualdo of the province of Camiguin. Major port investments are transforming the province into a stronger maritime and tourism hub. 493.9 million pesos Balbagon cruise ship port project is now over 70% complete and steadily advancing despite temporary disruption caused by global supply constraints and rising fuel costs. Meanwhile, the light craft landing station at the port of Binone is over 90% complete and on track for completion following the resolution and implementation of the issue. Together, this strategic port investment will strengthen Camiguin connectivity, boost tourism, and create greater economic opportunities not only for its people but for the whole Northern Mindanao. Complementing this gain are local government-led tourism investment, such as the Misamis Occidental Recreation and Adventure Park or AMURAP, the Maldives-inspired beach of Mindanao, and the ASENSO Global Gardens in my home province. These flagship attractions together with the proposed cruise tourism circuit linking Camiguin, Misamis Occidental, who will be establishing its cruise ship terminal. Thank you very much, PPE GM Manager G. Santiago. Siquijor and Bohol tourism link will position Northern Mindanao as a premier cruise and island hopping destination. This initiative helped both raise Northern Mindanao's position as a leisure and tourism destination, attracting domestic and international visitors, generating employment, and increasing regional spending at this point. Let me acknowledge our tourism ambassadors who are with us today. Miss Erika Jean R. Kadayday, Miss Universe Camiguin of 2026, and Miss Trixie Paris C. Rojas, Miss Universe Iligan of 2026. Can we give them a big hand? Saan nyo pinaupo? Bakit tinago niyo kay Governor Neil Roque? Kung adunay bagong puhunan, makamugna kini og mga nagkadaiyang trabaho. Mga makapasanay og mga oportunidad alang sa tanan. Kung adunay trabaho ang atong katawan, mas daghang pamilya ang makasanati sa kaharuhay o makaangkon sa mas maayong kaugmaon. Every investment secured is a job created and opportunity unlocked. Our task now is to convert investor confidence into broader opportunities for our people. The third pillar of the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is strategic infrastructure and strengthened security. Infrastructures and security are vital enablers of growth, deconnect communities, improve competitiveness, facilitate investment, and create opportunities for people and business. Northern Mindanao remains a major infrastructure growth corridor and currently hosts 15 infrastructure flagship projects, the third highest among all regions in the country, next only to Central Luzon and NCR. Of these projects, 2 have been completed, while 9 are currently under implementation. Among the region's most significant infrastructure milestone is the modernization of Lagindingan Airport under a public-private partnership agreement with Abuetis Infra Capital, which assumed operations on April 26, 2025. The development of the airport under the concession is to be implemented in 2 phases of capacity augmentation. Currently, the capacity augmentation plan for phase 1 is under review and finalization by the grantor and the concessionaire. The 12.75 billion initiative is expected to transform the airport into a more efficient and global competitive gateway to Northern Mindanao. With this development and operational enhancement, the airport has already served a total of 2.17 million passengers since the handover, with the first quarter of 2026 tracking a 7% growth compared to the previous years. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for having this opportunity for our Northern Mindanao Lagindingan Airport. Bukidnon Airport Development Project is likewise nearing completion. and is targeted for inauguration by December 2026. Once operational, it will improve accessibility, investment. Thank you to Senator Juan Miguel Mig Subiri and Governor Roel Nel Roque for championing this project. Meanwhile, the Misamis Airport modernization is now heading towards implementation with the resolution of land acquisition issue. The procurement process of the 700 million pesos new terminal building will commence next month of July with 300 million initial CAAP corporate funds and another 400 million pesos for 2027 for its completion. Thank you, CAAP Director General Raul de Rosario, of helping us in that project materialize. Likewise, the Camiguin Airport Development Project in collaboration with CAAP has renewed momentum towards project implementation and completion. The region also continues to advance strategic connectivity projects that will enhance mobility, trade, and regional integration. The proposed elevated walkway project along the Butuan-Cagayan de Oro Iligan Road Corridor aims to improve pedestrian safety and urban mobility. Thank you to Congressman Ropos Rodriguez, Congressman Lordan Suan, and City Mayor Clarix Oy of Cagayan de Oro City. Meanwhile, priority port projects are underway to strengthen Northern Mindanao's connectivity, trade, and tourism. These projects include the Misamis Port Improvement, which cost 360 million pesos. Jimenez Port Rehabilitation, and that's 800 million pesos. And Plaridel Port Expansion, 700 million pesos in Misamis Occidental, which has been funded this year from the PPE corporate funds. Again, thank you, PPE General Manager J. Santiago, for your support. Can we give a big hand to our PPE management team? Moreover, the Sultan Naga de Mapuro International Port Development Project in Lanao del Norte, which will enhance regional PIMP-IAGA linkages. Yan lang ang pinaka-opportunity natin na may link doon sa PIMP-IAGA. The East India International Port Development Project received funding for this fiscal year 2026 General Appropriation Act amounting to 534.99 million pesos, while additional 200 million was proposed for fiscal year 2027 for the construction, development, improvement, and rehabilitation of the seaport. Thank you, Governor Khalid de Mapuro, Congresswoman Imelda de Mapuro, and Amina de Mapuro for championing this cause in Congress and your efforts in realizing this noble project that will enhance growth and development of Northern Mindanao. Major transport initiatives such as the Central Mindanao High Standard Highway and the proposed Mindanao Railway Project Phase 3 remain critical to improving regional connectivity and logistics efficiency. Maganda, nandito si Secretary Magno kasi yung Mindanao Railway Project ay pinaglaban niya in the pipeline of the Mindanao Development Authority program in this PBM administration. The Central Mindanao Highway Standard Cagayan de Oro Malaybalay section is being advanced to improve travel efficiency and regional connectivity between Northern Mindanao and Davao. With JICA financing already secured, and detailed engineering design currently under procurement. Thank you very much, President Marcos, for approving this big haul project of Northern Mindanao. Complementing this initiative, the RDC-10 Infrastructure and Utilities Development Committee, under the leadership of Governor Ronel Nel Guapo Roque, posed for the accreditation of LGUs to implement nationally funded infrastructure projects. This trailblazing reform seeks to accelerate project implementation, strengthen local ownership, and improve delivery of critical infrastructure and investment throughout the region. At this point, allow me to congratulate Director Virgie E. Naibi, a homegrown employee of Region 10 DPWA, rose from the rank on her official appointment as officer in charge and soon to be full-fledged Regional Director of the Department of Public Works and Highway, Region 10. We look forward to your leadership and continued partnership in building a stronger Northern Mindanao. In rural development, the region further strengthened the partnership between the Department of Agriculture and our local government units through the implementation of farm-to-market roads, FMRs. Since 2023, 200 kilometers of FMRs have been funded across the region, with 72 kilometers fully completed, with an additional 74.67 kilometers program and funded for implementation in 2026. Reflecting our sustained commitment to improving agricultural connectivity and expanding economic opportunities in rural communities to maximize the impact of this investment under the new FMR implementation guideline. The RDC urges the DAT to fast-track the completion and harmonization of the Northern Mindanao FMR network plan so that future road projects are strategically prioritized, seamlessly coordinated across agencies and LGUs, and aligned with the needs of our farmers, fishers, folk, and agrarian community. Thank you, Regional Director, my good friend Pakamalan, for the untiring effort and support. Ba't ang hina ng palakpak natin? Ayan, maganda, dinagdagan nyo kasi may pahabol ako. Sir, kailangan naman pukpukin mo yung tao mo sa baba. Yung accountant mo, God caused the delay of the release of PRDP funds and even the financial assistance of our farmers in this time of crisis due to technicality. Currently, you had only implemented 8% of the more than 268 beneficiaries to receive the assistance because of technicalities imposed by your accountant. Basin, mahuman na lang ang crisis, dili pa mahuman ang release. In the first semester of 2026, while national reports indicate a 27% increase in robbery incidents as reported during the National Peace and Order Council meeting in Region 10. 8 focus crime, which include robbery incident, decreased by 12%. Kita ninyo yung contrast. Mamaya na yung palakpak, tapusin ko muna. While crime solution efficiency remain high at 87% above the national target. Significant gains were likewise recorded in the campaign against online sexual abuse or exploitation of children, OSAEC, and child abuse, sexual abuse for exploitation materials. Reported incidents declined from 22 cases in the second semester of 2025, only 4 cases in the first semester of 2026. Notably, Misamis Occidental recorded 0 incident during the latest reference period. Altogether, this reflects our effectiveness of intensified prevention campaigns, stronger interagency coordination, and sustained barangay community vigilance in the region. Under the leadership of Governor Xavier Jesus Romualdo as chairman of our Regional Peace and Order Council and Regional Director, Police Brigadier General Christopher Abrahano of the PNP Region 10. Can we give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen? We would like also to commend the PDEA and PNP for the successful conduct of a big haul anti-illegal drugs operation in Region 10, particularly in the province of Cavite last March 18, 2026. Complementing these efforts, the whole of nation approach to end the local communist armed conflict and the converging areas for peace and development continue to deliver development interventions and provide economic opportunities to vulnerable communities. As we continue to strengthen peace and security in Northern Mindanao, in behalf of the Northern Mindanaoans, I would like to extend our warmest congratulations to Major General Mario T. Angkao, Philippine Army, of his assumption as Commander of the 4th Infantry Diamond Division, Philippine Army, and General Bernardo A. Takiban, ERAGEC, on his assumption as Commander of the 2nd Mechanized Brigade, Philippine Army, and his recent promotion from Colonel to General. We look forward to working closely with your leadership, and we continue to foster an environment where peace, security, and development go hand in hand. Infrastructure connect people to opportunities. Peace and security allow those opportunities to flourish. Together, these investments are building a more connected, competitive, and secure Northern Mindanao. The fourth pillar of past ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is adaptation and climate action. A climate-related risk intensified resilience has become a development imperative. Protecting communities, safeguarding livelihoods, and ensuring the sustainability of our natural resources are essential to preserving our development gains. In 2025, Northern Mindanao strengthened its disaster resilience and climate adaptation efforts through enhanced preparedness, ecosystem protection, watershed management, and climate responsive investment. Despite of the multiple weather disturbances, disaster-related damages and losses amounted only to 74.5 million, significantly lower than the 273.6 million recorded in 2024. However, the human impact of disaster remains a concern, with 19 lives lost and more than 83,000 individuals affected during the year. The reality was evident when Tropical Storm Bastiang struck Iligan City earlier this year. The difficult period was witnessed. We witnessed leadership and interlocal government cooperation as its finest. Mayor Frederick Xiao showed the way, Northern Mindanao mobilized a whole of government and whole of region response, bringing together national government agencies, LGU, development partners, and volunteers towards a common purpose. Atong nakita ang tinuod nga panag-ihuta sa panahon sa kalisod. Ang Northern Mindanao wala maghulat. Ni barog kita, nagtinabangay kita, o nagmalampuson kita, isip usa ka region. Pwede na ito palakpakan ang atong kaugalingon. Another palakpak. Meanwhile, RDC-10 Regional Project Monitoring Committee validated 415 flood control projects implemented from 2022 to 2025, confirming that all projects are physically in place. This affirms transparency, accountability, and the absence of ghost flood control projects in Northern Mindanao. And while we sustain our efforts to address present risks, we must also prepare for emerging threats. The Pag-asa has raised the probability of El Nino development to 79% in anticipation of a possible strong El Nino episode in the fourth quarter of this year until early 2027. The region will intensify mitigation measures, strengthen irrigation system, enhance disaster preparedness, and ensure food and water security across communities. Resilience is not built after disasters happen. It is built before they arrive. The fifth pillar of the mass ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is skills and human capital. The true wealth of Northern Mindanao lies sa atong mga katawhan. As industries evolve and technologies reshape the workplace, investing in education, workforce development, and lifelong learning is essential to sustaining growth and improving quality of life. In 2025, the region enhanced human capital development efforts through expanded education, technical vocational training, workforce development, and industry-responsive learning program. Meanwhile, higher education institutions across Northern Mindanao produce graduates equipped with the knowledge and competencies needed to contribute regional and national development. Efforts are likewise underway to localize the Trabaho para sa Bayan plan for the preparation of a regional workforce development plan with priority industries. As we prepare our workforce for the future of our next generation, we also recognize that every family deserves an opportunity to break the cycle of poverty. Complementing the efforts of the national government agencies is the One Family, One Professional program, a human capital initiative I first introduced in Misamis, Occidental, based in a simple but powerful belief that education remains one of the most effective pathways of our poverty. A program which grants 25,000 pesos educational assistance per semester for its grantee, or a total of 50,000 pesos per school year. This we did in Misamis Occidental in close collaboration with the Sangguniang Kabataan, barangay, city, and municipal local government units. I issued an order to these subordinate LGUs for a mandatory allocations in their annual budget. What began as a provincial scholarship and educational assistance program in academic year 2023-2024, it has now produced 7,704 scholars, 1,878 graduates, 194 board passers, and more than 150 employed professionals. Encouraged by these outcomes, we are now expanding the OPO vision beyond Misamis Occidental and rolling it out across all provinces and highly urbanized cities in Northern Mindanao. Under our mass ASENSO agenda, with 1,200 grantees to start this first semester 2026-2027. Through our OPO, we seek to empower more families, create greater opportunities for our young people, and ensure that every Northern Mindanao has a fair chance to future education, secure meaningful employment, and contribute to the region's long-term growth and development. At this point, may I request all OPO program scholars present today to kindly stand and be recognized. Let us give them a warm round of applause. Okay, thank you. Opo na kayo, baka madagdagan pa. After the program today, you will receive an initial 10,000 pesos each. Hindi pang shopping, but for your enrollment and school needs for the coming school year. Okay. Tahimik na, pakinggan nyo naman. At this juncture, allow me to extend, in behalf of the RDC officials, our heartfelt appreciation to DSW10 Regional Director Glorifilia Owayan for helping me secure the funds for our regional OPO beneficiary, demonstrating our shared commitment to supporting and recognizing the dedication and achievement for our young people. Thank you to our DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian for all the support. Boss Anton, hindi pa ako magpapasalamat sa iyo kung dagdagan mo ito mamaya. We likewise take this opportunity to recognize our outstanding athletes who proudly represented Northern Mindanao in the Palarong Pambansa. Through your discipline, perseverance, and excellence, You have brought honor not only to your schools and local government units, but to the entire region. In the last Palarong Pambansa, we garnered 27 gold, 31 silver, and 31 bronze. In our gold medalists, we have two record breakers. In the person of Mr. Cesar P. Manligis for triple jump, who is now the holder of the new meet record, 15.14 meters from previous 15 meters. And Mr. Charles James Villapana for the 100-meter hurdles, who established new record of 13.51 seconds from previous 14 seconds. May I request our Palarong Pambansa medalist present today to kindly stand and be recognized. At the back, they are there. Can you please stand? I encourage our athletes to perform well in the Palarong Pambansa. That in my opening message in the last NMRAA hosted by Bukidnon, that the RDC will give an incentive to the medalists in the Palarong Pambansa. 30,000 for bronze, 50,000 for silver, and 100,000 pesos for gold medalist. And double, meaning 100,000, naging 200,000 to the record breaker. And after the program today, they will receive the promised cash rewards. This now reminds us that Northern Mindanao greatest strength lies in the talent, determination, and potential of its people. Kamo ang buhing pamatuod nga kung adunay edukasyon, adunay paglaom, o kung adunay paglaom, adunay masanag nga kaugmaon. Ang inyong kalampusan, dili lamang inyong kaugalingon, nga kadaogan, apan kadaogan usab sa inyong pamilya o sa tibuok region. The greatest investment we can make is in our people. By investing in people today, we secure the region's prosperity tomorrow. As we continue investing our greatest asset, our people, I likewise welcome Dr. Rod Quintes Siso III as the newly appointed Regional Director of the DepEd Region 10 over there. Director Leo D. Camposano as the OIC Regional Director of the Commission on Higher Education, Region 10. And Director Mark Garcia, the newly appointed Regional Director of the Department of Science and Technology. We look forward to working with both of you in further strengthening education and human capital development across Northern Mindanao. We would also like to recognize and congratulate our longest-serving DILG Provincial Director serving here in Northern Mindanao because he is a Northern Mindanao known from Lanao del Norte who served as Provincial Director of the DILG in Misamis Occidental, who was now appointed as the new DILG Regional Director of Region 9. Can we give PD, now Regional Director John Benitez, a big hand? The sixth pillar of the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is evidence-based planning. The region remains strongly committed to implementing the Northern Mindanao Regional Development Plan 2028 midterm update and the updating of the Regional Physical Framework Plan 2013 to 2040, which serves as the region's primary development and spatial planning blueprint. Foremost among these is RDC-10 Resolution number 142 series of 2025, urging the Economic Development Council, Infrastructure Development Committee to pursue systemic reforms in infrastructure development and institutionalize the regular national regional consultative meeting. Evidence must remain at the heart of every policy, program, and investment decision. Better data, better decision, development, better development outcome. The seventh pillar of Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is nurturing innovation. Innovation is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. It enables industries to become more competitive, government to become more responsive, and communities to become more resilient. Innovation is no longer where we are going. It is how we get there. Innovation must continue to move from ideas to impact. The eighth pillar of the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is social development, education, and health. At the heart of every development effort is the well-being of our people. Economic growth becomes meaningful only when it translates into a healthier communities and improved quality of life. In 2025, Northern Mindanao reinforced healthcare, education, nutrition, housing, and social protection and development program. The Philippine Health Insurance Corporation also sustained its implementation of the Yaman ng Kalusugan Program, YAKAP, expanding access to quality primary healthcare while reducing the financial burden of Filipino families. Through the programs, members may avail up to 20,000 worth of essential medicines annually, together with free consultations, laboratory services, and selective preventive health intervention. Moving forward, we call on our local government units, healthcare providers, and our people to further promote and maximize the YAKA program so that more families in the region can fully benefit from accessible, preventive, and affordable health care. With our total population of Northern Mindanao, only 25% has availed of the program. Recognizing its long-term implications on health, education, and poverty, the Commission on Population and Development launched the Project 25 at 28, a multi-sectoral initiative that aims to encourage to reduce adolescent pregnancy by 25 at 28. Under the leadership of Governor Juliet Oy, Chairperson of the RDC-10 Social Development Committee, the region strengthens evidence-based intervention through the Northern Bukidnon State College study on teenage pregnancy and the implementation of the Project 25 at 28. Under the region likewise boosted learning recovery initiative. Under this program, we have helped cushion vulnerable households from the inflationary pressures and economic uncertainties caused by high fuel price. As of May 31, 2026, through the uplift, we have provided direct assistance to over 44,000 transport workers and drivers in Region 10, with more than 221.7 million in cash supported nearly 600 overseas Filipino workers affected by the Middle East crisis. Certainly, development is meaningful only when it improves the lives of our people. This mirrors Misamis Occidental 5-inch vision. Northern Mindanao nons, magpuyong, malinaon, malambuon, o malipayon. And we remain committed to building a region where development translates peace, prosperity, and happiness for all. The ninth and the last pillar of Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda is optimizing land resources. The region sustained support for enhancing land use governance, environmental protection, watershed management, and sustainable resource development initiatives. Complementing these efforts, RDC-10 Economic Development Committee under the leadership of Mayor Frederick Xiao championed RDC-10 Resolution Number 37, adapting and supporting the localization of the actions and strategies on Philippines Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan for the protection and conservation of key biodiversity areas in Northern Mindanao. Ang maayong pagdumala karon mo'y pagsiguro sa mga oportunidad alang sa umaabot nga mga generation. As we move into the second half of the Northern Mindanao Regional Development 2023-2028, our priorities remain clear. Accelerate economic transformation, strengthen resilience and sustainability, and invest in people innovation. To accelerate regional transformation, we will continue to champion strategic, impactful, and legacy-building initiative, or SILI for short. SILI projects, SILI nga muhalang prohekto nga makaahatag og impact sa kinabuhi sa tao, like airports, seaports, high-standard highways, railways and mass transport projects, government centers, health and wellness projects, and digital communities. The challenges are real, but so are the opportunities before us. Fellow Northern Mindanaonons, the future we envision for our region will not be achieved by government alone. It requires the continued partnership with development partners and every citizen who shares our aspiration for a better Northern Mindanao. Let us therefore continue working together under the Mas ASENSO Northern Mindanao agenda. Let us continue creating opportunities, strengthening communities, investing our people, protecting our environment, and ensuring that no one is left behind. Mga kaigsonan, daghan pakitaghagit nga atbangon. Apan kung magkahiusa, kita isip usa ka region, walay kalisod nga dili nato mabunto o walay damgo nga dili nato makapot. The state of our region is strong, but more importantly, the future is brighter than ever. As we look ahead with optimism, allow me to express my deepest gratitude to our fellow RDC officers and members, governors, mayors, and all local chief executives, regional directors, and personnel of our government agencies, the private sector, development partners, CSOs, the students, stakeholders who tirelessly advance our region's development. I would like to extend a special recognition to the Department of Economy, Planning, and Development Region 10 under the leadership of the very dynamic Director Myla Fee Aurora B. Carino, CISO III. Our RDC Secretariat, whose steadfast guidance and technical expertise have helped turn our shared vision into a meaningful action. I also recognize our RDC team co-chairperson, Sir Mr. Jaime Rafael Pagyo, for being a strong partner representing the private sectors. We would also like to thank our President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Can we give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for being supportive to the initiatives of Region 10, for funding the local government support fund to the different provinces, municipalities, and cities, barangays in the whole region, which never happened before. That for this year, he released more than 2 billion pesos for this program. And for the more than 100 billion pesos infra projects and social development funded in the 2026 General Appropriations Act. Can we give a big hand again to our President? At this time, Boss Secretary Anton, pwede ho maglambing. Kasi itong lahat na budget allocation na binigay ni Presidente, particularly in the LGSF, 50% pa ang na-release sa DBM, yung SARO. Iyon ngayon, yung social, lahat na LGUs namimigay ng bigas, yung 50% for infra and other social development. Baka makiliti mo ang Secretary of DBM to release it next month in order to augment the public expenditure program of our government. Can we give a big hand to Secretary Anton Lagdimayo? The gains that we celebrate today are the result of our strong partnership, shared responsibility, and common commitment to public service. Without your unwavering support and trust, this accomplishment would not have been possible. With faith in our people, confidence in our institutions, and a strong commitment to our shared vision, we will continue marching forward, but with a brisker cadence, pushing Northern Mindanao towards a loftier place. Usa ka region nga mas asenso, din ang mga katawhan magpuyong, malinawon, malambuon, o malipayon. Mas asenso Northern Mindanao. Mabuhay ang Northern Mindanao noon. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Daghang salamat o maasinsong adlaw kanatong tanan.
ASENSO, ASENSO, ASENSO. Misamis, Occidental. Governor Henry S. Oaminal, kawan ng pangalaman. Si Pagdat na masoy.
Thank you very much, Governor Henry S. Oaminal, for the empowering and deeply inspiring State of the Region address. And now, to honor us with an official message of support on this monumental session, we are privileged to welcome a distinguished statesman who brings a wealth of leadership and perspective to contemporary governance. Following a highly successful career in executive leadership, he transitioned to dedicated public service. Today, he serves at the literal forefront of national development and executive administration, bridging local aspirations directly to the highest office of the land. Ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the message of support to the Council, let us accord a warm Northern Mindanao welcome to the Special Assistant to the President, Honorable Secretary Antonio Ernesto Anton Florendo Lagdameo Jr.
Thank you. Please. First, I'd like to greet our host, Governor Henry Oaminal, Chairperson of the Regional Development Council, Region 10. Minda Chairperson, Leo Magno, our Governor, Gov Roque, Gov Uy, and we have Mayor, our district representative. Ano ba, congressman or mayor? Mayor naman, mayor siya. Hindi ko na alam, kasi lahat sila classmate ko noon eh. Classmate ko sa Congress, kaya nalilito na ako. Iba-iba na. But anyway, at our local government officials, colleagues in government, partners from the private sector and civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm honored to be with you today on behalf of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to convey his warm greetings and, more importantly, his continuing support for the people of Northern Mindanao. Allow me first to congratulate Governor Oaminal on the presentation of his first State of the Region address as Chairperson of RDC-10. More than a report on accomplishments, today's gathering is an opportunity to reflect on how far Northern Mindanao has come, and just as importantly, where it intends to go. What stands out about this region is not simply its economic performance, but the way local governments, national agencies, businesses, and communities have learned to work together. Development is rarely the result of one institution acting alone. It is built through partnership, sustained by trust, and made possible by leaders who are willing to work beyond institutional boundaries. This is precisely why regional development councils remain indispensable. They ensure that national priorities are shaped by local realities and that government programs respond to what communities truly need, not just what looks good on paper. The President has consistently emphasized that growth must be felt by ordinary Filipinos. Economic gains are meaningful only when they translate into the greater opportunities for every family. That is the essence of Bagong Pilipinas, not simply building now, but building better lives. Northern Mindanao has every reason to be optimistic. Across the region, we are seeing important infrastructure and development initiatives steadily moving forward. The modernization of Laguindingan Airport under its new public-private partnership marks a major step towards transforming it into a more competitive gateway for Mindanao, while the Bukidnon Airport is nearing completion and is expected to further strengthen connectivity within the island. We are likewise seeing continued progress on strategic transport projects, from the rehabilitation of the Agus Pulangi Hydropower Complex, the development of the Sultan Naga Dimaporo Port, to the Central Mindanao High Standard Highway, whose detailed engineering design is now being prepared following Japan's financial support. These are complemented by continuing investments in roads, ports, airports, and digital infrastructure across the region. There are important investments that will strengthen the region's connectivity, improve the movement of people and goods, and support the continued growth of Northern Mindanao. They are clear examples of what can be achieved when the national government, local governments, the private sector, and development partners work towards a common goal. The national government remains fully committed to working alongside all of you to ensure that these priority projects continue to move forward. While challenges exist, they are not beyond us. We have seen what can be accomplished when government works with unity of purpose and when public service is guided not by politics, but by results. Allow me as well to recognize today's awardees and all those whose dedication has contributed to Northern Mindanao's progress. Whether you serve in government, in the private sector, in our schools, or within your communities, your work reminds us that nation building is ultimately the sum of countless acts of service, many of which are carried out quietly without fanfare. As we move forward, let us continue to build on the gains we have achieved. Let us remain open to new ideas, strengthen our partnerships, and keep our focus on improving the lives of the people we have all been called to serve. I thank the Regional Development Council, Region 10, for your leadership and reaffirm the full support of the Office of the President as we work together towards a stronger, more competitive, and more prosperous Northern Mindanao. Congratulations on the successful conduct of your 145th Full Council meeting and the 2026 State of the Region Address. Daghang salamat, mabuhay ang Northern Mindanao, mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
Thank you very much, Chaplag de Mayo, for the message of support and commitment to the growth and development of Northern Mindanao. Secretary Lagdameo, we kindly request you to please remain on the stage. And at this juncture, the Council wishes to express its deepest appreciation to our guest of honor. To present the special institutional token, may we formally invite to the center stage RDC-10 Vice Chairperson, Director Milafay Aurora Bicarino, our RDC-10 Chairperson, Honorable Governor Henry S. Oaminal, and the MINDA Chairperson, Secretary Leo A. Magno. And now to express our deepest appreciation, we present this hand-carved leaf portrait to Secretary Lagdameo, beautifully crafted by Bukidnon artist Wilmar Sumuhoy. Carved from a single leaf, this masterpiece symbolizes our deep connection to the land and reflects a timeless truth. That true public service is defined not by grandeur, but by steadfast dedication. Thank you very much. We still request for our principals to stay on stage for this next portion of our program. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached an inspiring highlight of today's proceedings. This is the RDC-10 Awards and Recognition Ceremony. Today, we celebrate the triumphs, dedication, and achievements that elevate our beloved region. Awardees are requested to ascend the stage once called, receive their award, and follow the ushers in preparation. Let us begin with our first set of awardees. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, Camiguin Provincial Office, and the Philippine National Police, Camiguin Provincial Office, for their dedication and courage in the conduct of an anti-illegal drug bust operation in the province of Camiguin on March 2026. Receiving the award on behalf of their agencies are provincial officers Emil C. Ancheta and Nicanor I. Luciano II of PIDEA, and Provincial Director Police Colonel Mauro P. Guray of the PNP. We now proceed to our next set of awardees, the 2025 Outstanding Local Project Monitoring Committees in Region 10, for their invaluable contributions to the regional project monitoring and evaluation system. Recognizing excellence across two categories, the award for the provincial level is conferred upon the province of Lanao del Norte, which shall be received by Vice Governor Alan J. Lim. This is followed by the city level awarded to the city of Hingoog, which will be received by Councilor Wayne Militante Jr. for Hingoog City. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the presentation of the 2025 Search for Outstanding Volunteers. Let us begin with our individual categories. The award for the Outstanding Volunteer for Individual Youth is conferred upon Mr. Jan Nino F. Paasa, followed by the Outstanding Volunteer for Individual Adult conferred upon Ms. Reggie D. Punongbayan. This is followed by the Outstanding Volunteer for the Individual Adult conferred upon Ms. Reggie D. Punongbayan. Moving to our highest category winners for individual excellence. The most outstanding volunteer individual youth is awarded to Mr. Jicky V. Oclarit. This, ladies and gentlemen, is followed by the most outstanding volunteer individual adult category award to Mr. Jonathan V. Bacom. Next, the award for the most outstanding volunteer organization, nonprofit, is conferred upon Majestic Waterfalls Eagles Club. And finally, the prestigious Volunteer Lifetime Achievement Award is officially bestowed upon Cagayan de Oro Volunteer Fire Brigade Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, we now proudly extend our official recognition to our Miss Universe Philippines Region 10 representatives, bringing immense pride and inspiration to Northern Mindanao. This distinction is proudly awarded to Miss Rexy Pares C. Rojas of the City of Iligan, our Miss Eco Teen Philippines 2026. The same is also extended to Miss Erica Jean Arcadayday of the province of Camigan. And finally, we close this ceremony by recognizing the region's world-class student athletes, the record breakers in the athletics event of the recently concluded Palarong Pambansa held in the province of Agusan del Sur. Distinction is proudly conferred upon Mr. Cesar Manliguez for establishing a historic new record in the triple jump event, and Mr. Charles James Villapana for his record-breaking performance in the 110-meter hurdles. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to our record breakers here on stage, we also wish to honor the entire pool of athletic athletes who competed and triumphed for our region. As the medalists are called, please rise and remain standing to be recognized. May we request all our Palarong Pambansa bronze medalists to please rise. Next, all our silver medalists to please rise. And finally, all our gold medalists, please rise.
Region 10, give it up for your athletes. And as we come full circle for this awarding ceremony, the RDC-10 wishes to express its gratitude to our event partner and host. We acknowledge Dr. Ambrosio B. Cultura II, President of the USCP. Please rise, sir. And thank him along with the entire USCP community for their support and warm hospitality in making the conduct of this historic event possible. May we request all our previous awardees to please step forward and join our principals here in front for a photo opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the full roster of our 2026 RDC-10 awardees a resounding round of applause. And since we're in the mood for more photo opportunities, we would like to transition this program to a photo opportunity for the groups as presented on screen. We'd like to request the groupings as shown on screen and request the principals to please stay on stage as we facilitate a photo taking opportunity. Photo op order, we would like to call on the congresspersons, governors, city and municipality and LMP mayors to the stage for a photo opportunity with our RDC-10 officials and as well as our guests of honor. We'd also like to invite our chairpersons of the committees to please join us here on stage for this photo taking opportunity. Again, we'd like to request congresspersons and their representatives, governors, city and municipality mayors, and also our chairs and co-chairs of the respective RDC-10 sectoral committees to please join us here on stage for this photo-taking opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, let me cue you in for your photo. And 3, 2, 1, and smile. And 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our congresspersons, governors, city and municipality mayors, and as well as our co-chairs. You may now exit the stage as we cater to the next group of our photo opportunity. Next up, we would be calling the heads of national government agencies, and of course, the special non-voting members of the RDC-10 Full Council. Again, we'd like to call on the heads of national government agencies and its non-voting members of the full RDC Full Council. We'd also like to encourage our regional line agencies to please utilize the space at the back so that we can accommodate more of you here in front. We'd also like to ask for the assistance of some of our ushers to please guide our participants here on stage. Okay, for the first batch of photos, we're taking them in 3, 2, 1, and smile. And the next one in 3, 2, 1, and smile. And the third one for safety in 3, 2, 1, and smile. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your heads of government agencies and non-voting members of the RDC-10 Full Council. Next up, we'd like to call the private sector representatives. We'd also like to welcome, before that, a second batch of the RLA. Next batch, we would also like to call the attention of our Misamis Occidental provincial officials, so please stay ready as you will be called on next to the stage for the photo taking opportunity with our principals and officials. Once again, those currently on stage are private sector representatives, vice governors, and federation presidents. And for the next batch, we would like to also give a heads up to the provincial officers of the Misamis Occidental, congresspersons, mayors, and their board members and mayors. Okay, this is the second batch for the heads of government agencies. And 3, 2, 1, and smile. And 3, 2, 1, and smile. And 3, 2, 1, and smile. Okay, that wraps up your batch's photo opportunity. We now welcome the next batch for the photo opportunity, which are also a mixture of our PSRs, vice governors, and federation presidents. And now we call on the provincial officials of Misamis Occidental. We call on their mayors, vice governor, board members, and their municipality mayors, as well as their congressperson. Okay, apologies for a quick error. We'd like to hold off on the Misamis Occidental delegation first. We have a final batch to accommodate for the PSRs to come on stage to take their photo opportunity with our principals. Again, we'd like to remind that this batch is for the private sector representatives, vice governors, and federation presidents. Please come on stage. Okay, this is our final batch of PSRs, vice governors, and federation presidents joining us here on stage. Let me cue you in for your photo op, and maybe we can utilize the other side of the stage as well. So everyone is in possession. 3, 2, 1, and smile. Maybe smile even harder. 3, 2, 1, and smile. And finally, 3, 2, 1, and smile. Okay, that is the last batch for the PSRs, Vice Governors, and Federation Presidents. And now we shall welcome on stage, without further ado, the provincial officials of Misamis Occidental, their congresspersons, mayors, Vice Governor, and its board members. So please welcome to the stage our delegation from the Misamis Occidental. For our delegation here on stage, we'd also like to encourage you to use this portion of the stage. It's right facing the audience. Let me cue you in, everyone. And 3, 2, 1, and smile. 3, 2, 1, and smile. And finally, 3, 2, 1, and smile. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Misamis Occidental's delegation. And since this is the final round of our photo opportunity, we'd also like to request this time our principals to go back to their seats as we will be proceeding with our program shortly. Okay, since everyone is now placed nearby or in their seats, we'd like to request everyone to please rise for this next portion, which will be a groovy. The picture will be taken on the stage, and our principals and our officers will be here on the ground as we take a photo of the at you, and you shall be smiling back at it. Okay, we'll just give a few more moments so everyone is in line. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and smile. And then on 3, we will say Mas ASENSO, Northern Mindanao. Okay, on 3, 1, 2, 3, and Mas ASENSO, Northern Mindanao. Okay. Okay, we'd also like to announce before this is all over, you may now take your seats, that SAP Lagdameo will also include another
Investment secured is a job created and opportunity unlocked. Our task now is to convert investor confidence into broader opportunities for our people. Industries evolve and technologies reshape the workplace, investing in education, workforce development, and lifelong learning is essential to sustaining growth and improving quality of life. Northern Mindanao continues to attract investment and create opportunities, the benefit of development must reach every community, every family, every sector of the society. Our priorities remain clear. Accelerate economic transformation, strengthen resilience and sustainability, and invest in people innovation. To accelerate regional transformation, we will continue to champion strategic, impactful, and legacy-building initiatives, or SILI for short. SILI projects, SILI nga muhalang prohekto nga makahatag og impact sa kinabuhi sa tao.
Growth must be felt by ordinary Filipinos. Economic gains are meaningful only when they translate into the greater opportunities for every family. That is the essence of Bagong Pilipinas. Not simply building now, but building better lives.
And now we would like to turn the floor over back to the RDC-10 chair for the closing of the meeting.
Hello, mic test. Before I will officially adjourn the 145th Regional Development Council of Northern Mindanao Fall Council meeting, I would like to reiterate and clarify the announcement on the commitment of Secretary Antonio Lagdamio for the OPOP that for this semester you are supposed to receive 25,000 pesos as announced on the regular program. So, dagdagan ng 10,000 pesos ni Secretary Lagdamio. So, 35,000. No? Okay. Okay. So, my office will coordinate, no, the schedule of the release, but we will see to it that just like the succeeding release, it will now be in your respective local government units. Na? Doon na para di na mo makagasto og ang inyong time. So, again, you are very lucky, and then ayuha lang ang among kalipay mao nga makakita ninyo nga mamahimong nagmalumpuson sa inyong tagsa-tagsa ka kinabuhi. My distinguished colleagues of the Regional Development Council, private sectors, and other stakeholders, the 145th Regional Development Council of Northern Mindanao Fall Council meeting and the State of the Region Address 2026 is now officially adjourned. RDC officials and members will have to proceed to the Lux Hotel for our lunch, while you will stay for the release in order to receive your respective benefits. Okay? Daghang salamat.